Well, this isn't what I was expecting my second video to be. Yeah, no kidding. I had multiple review scripts recorded. I was almost ready to start editing them, trying to find out how to get all of those stitched together. But still just sort of working with this setup. Because this is something that's pretty bad and needs a lot more attention and needs to get talked about right now while there's still momentum and while there's still inertia. And as I said in my original video, as I said in my original debut video, that's important when you're on YouTube. Having inertia, having momentum, and just being there to try and catch the algorithm. It's not what I wanted, it's not what I was prepared for, but it's what we got. So, I have my script, I have my quarantine. Gather around, children, and let's talk anti-union practices. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, Crunchyroll got a lot of attention this week for certain casting decisions in the upcoming Mob Psycho 100 season, recasting Mob, more specifically his English voice actor Kyle McCarley, over a dispute regarding him and other actors who do voiceovers for Crunchyroll. Now, I haven't watched Mob Psycho and generally don't have much of an opinion on the series myself, but even a preliminary search about Mob Psycho, Crunchyroll, and Kyle all give you a chance to see Crunchyroll might have picked a bad time and place, and they definitely picked the wrong reason. According to Kyle on his YouTube channel, they were fully willing to pay as much or more for his talent in the upcoming season as he'd get for a unionized contract, which, don't forget, voice acting is actually a fairly strong community and union. Crunchyroll just didn't want to sign him with an actually unionized contract. So, yeah, I'm not going to be able to write anything good about Crunchyroll trying to encourage a union voice actor to scab and sign a deal they, for some reason, wanted to keep hidden. They were willing to pay him a union rate, but in exchange he couldn't communicate this with the actual union. Trying to discourage communication between workers and talent is a pretty common tactic for undermining unions. In fact, earlier this year, Zagtoon was caught doing the exact same thing with secondary and tertiary voice actors in the production of Miraculous Ladybug, until shame from that fandom got them to sit down with some of the actors they'd wronged and rectify their clearly undermining practices. To be clear, Funimation and Crunchyroll both have a habit of doing this thing all the way before now. Unfortunately, this kind of thing is basically industry standard. And one of the worst examples I've seen out of all of this was the cast of the excellent Jujutsu Kaisen Zero movie, where the highest billed actors in the entire movie were only paid somewhere between $150 to $300 for their work in the entire movie. The minimum pay rate for Crunchyroll actors appears to be just $35 an hour, which sounds good until you remember the length of what Crunchyroll is producing. Most anime distributed by Crunchyroll are only 22 minutes long, but really it's closer to 20 or 18 when you include the OP and ED. Yes, recording sessions are definitely longer than that, but that's still only gonna be a few hours a week for each show that an actor is in. When that's accounted for, it's a really pathetic pay rate. And then you combine this with the benefit Crunchyroll gets from basically treating its actors like independent contractors and freelancers, which is a broad meaning in national labor laws, but basically means they aren't actual employees, which in this sense is just bullcrap. As freelancers and independents, they aren't covered by otherwise basic labor laws and protections. Freelancers aren't typically given benefits like company healthcare, sick leave, holidays, or any of that. When Crunchyroll is refusing to talk to SAG-AFTRA about opportunities and contracts, it means even if they're getting paid at a unionized rate, these actors almost certainly are not getting the benefits of that union-approved deal. No healthcare, no sick leave, no holiday, no protections. That's the main goal of SAG-AFTRA, and Crunchyroll shot it down out of pure reflex and greed. But they made a bigger mistake here. They thought their talent and their subscribers were stupid. They aren't. People aren't stupid, actually. They thought that we didn't notice the more greedy undertones of their monopoly now that Funimation is defunct. They thought their actors wouldn't raise a storm by going to their fans. They forgot that we, their subscribers, and their talent are what let them exist. They forgot that the actors are more than a union. They are a community. Having just been to Dragon Con Atlanta and going to a lot of panels led by voice actors and meeting an online friend or two, love you, Mantle, you get an immediate feeling that they all know each other, work together, and they are real friends outside of that recording booth. You see it when they sit next to each other at panels, when Bryce and Christina reenact Chat Noir and Ladybug saying, "Pound it!" when Brianna and Sean bicker about ReZero, other actors talking about the fun moments and outtakes they have from recording when they're doing a Twitch stream. They love this community, and they love each other, and they love their fans. They are genuinely talented people who voice act for anime not because it pays the bills, as they will freely tell you it just doesn't, but because they love the medium and they love the fans. They came into this industry from 100 avenues: grade school theater, Craigslist, oddly enough, music, and just a genuine passion for this medium. Trying to break a community like that by trawling for a few scabs was a bad call from Crunchyroll's managers, and right now they're probably realizing it in all respects. Crunchyroll is now part of Sony, which, for its faults and its equally questionable business practices, is a massive and wealthy company. They can afford for these actors to be in a union. They can afford for these actors to get their labor benefits, and they can afford for these actors to get the respect and benefits they deserve. Until then, until progress is made, they won't get my money. I'm sorry that this video is just not fun, that this is just me shouting at my computer, at this point completely off script, but this is important. This is genuine anti-labor practices in effect in an entertainment industry that has taken off in the last decade or so. Anime is, within a few years, going to be one of the default animation entertainment forms. It just is. English voice actors are a key part of that, because a lot of people do genuinely love or prefer the English dubs. I don't typically go for them first myself, but I understand talent and effort and sometimes literal sweat, tears, and health is ruined by these labor standards. This is an industry that is incredibly demanding, and the least that these actors can get is respect, benefits, and for their union to just be recognized by this unfortunate monopoly that we are now stuck in. So, yeah, that's what I got for right now, and it's not pretty. But if you know more than I do, if you're an industry insider, if you're one of these actors, first of all, I would love to know, why are you watching this video? Why are you watching my video? But I would also love to hear your insight. I would also just love more information in the comments. My first video was pretty well received, no bad comments, everything a-okay there for the most part, and I hope this video leaves a pretty good impression on you too. So, Jane, friends, Jane.